when I went to Saudi, I was really surprised by the amount of American and British people that are actually living there. And some of them are
Yeah.
non-Muslims actually. Quite a few were
Yep.
non-Muslim. They were
Yep.
actually living in complexes in
Yep.
Saudi.
Yep.
It makes sense for Muslims to go, but alhamdulillah, there's quite a few people who weren't Muslim as well, and
Yep.
it serves as a great dawah opportunity. And
It
so
is.
for you, it was great reconnecting with a fellow American, although you're from
Yes.
different sides of the states, east and west. It was a great time
Right.
to connect with someone from the states. And then,
Right.
how did the book come about? MashaAllah, tabarakallah. The book you wrote about Mutah's life.
Right.
How did that come about? Did you have to
Right.
delve deeply and have lots of uh, you know, candle light dinners and get his story, extract his story, or how did it come about?
Right. So actually, I want to clarify. So although he spent some time, a lot of significant time in Cali, he's actually from New Jersey. So that's
Ah,
another
right.
reason
Okay.
why we kind of connected because New Jersey and New York is like, one and the same.
Yes. Yes.
So we're really, I mean, we just vibed, on many different levels, and he understands people from Brooklyn. He knows how they, get down and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, I mean, it was just great to just meet on so many different levels, Islamically, just from where we come from. And
Alhamdulillah.
just being a real individual, and sort of low key. And, even though he's very public and social, he just kind of, keeps quiet and, keeps himself, when he's not doing, social things. So we had a lot of like personality things that align. Um, but yeah, as we got so we got a little bit closer, with the business because we had to just to, talk business. Um, but then this is also at the time that his documentary had just come out, and the documentary
Yeah.
was done very well. And somebody had wrote a comment in on one of his posts. We're just waiting for your autobiography. And I read that, and fortunately, up until that point, I have been fortunate to write, quite a few academic articles.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a nerd like that. I like to write. I feel like there's a lot of important topics. Racism and discrimination in English language teaching was something I was very passionate about. So I was able to, write. And my target was really at the top. So as we go back to this issue of excellence,
Yeah.
I really want, when it's all said and done, that I didn't leave anything on the table, and I really
Yes.
pushed
Yeah.
myself. So my target wasn't, sort of just any old journal or any old, magazine. I targeted Oxford University Press magazines, ELT journal, and I was, very fortunate to get a few articles published with them, and their acceptance rate is very, very low. So it's very competitive to get it in. But by Allah's grace, I was able to do that. So I said to myself, wow, this guy, you know, um, he's got an incredible story because I watched
Yeah.
the I knew a little bit about him, his background, but I never pressed him with personal questions about it. But when I saw the documentary, it kind of opened up. I never knew that his mom and dad got killed in front of him. There's a lot of things that so I was like, wow, I was blown away by it. And so when somebody wrote that comment, I started putting two and two together. I was like, Moo, like, have you ever written a book before? And he said, yeah, I did. I had someone do it, but I wasn't really pleased with, how it went, so, we did it like maybe a few years ago. It didn't really materialize the way I wanted it to. So I said, well, that would be something that I would be, interested in doing if you're up for it. He's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. And he's kind of looking at me, like basically it's not easy to write a book, like what qualifies you to do that? I mean, he didn't say that, but it's kind of like, I mean, it kind of probably was going through his head. So I said, no, no, I got, inshallah, I got a little something with the pen, inshallah. Let me show you some of the articles I wrote. So I showed him some of the work I did. He was like, okay, that's pretty serious. And then I said, let's just, let me just write a introductory chapter for you and, see how you like it. And then if you do, let's, continue the project. Sure enough, wrote the first chapter, trying to make it as really, impactful and really make the reader feel what it was like for his parents, to be
Yes.
murdered in the way that they were. And, it was really, meaningful for him and had a huge impact. And he was like, that's it. It's a wrap. Let's get it done. And so, we worked on it, for about, 5 months. No candlelight dinners, but I would constantly call him up. When I had certain questions about certain things, I want to be very accurate. I also wanted him to know that my approach wasn't. I'm not just not just going to be a story of your life without context, because it overlapped with a lot of different things that was going on in America and in rap, the music industry at the time, history wise and stuff like that. So I said, in order to make this book, as valuable as possible, let me put my sort of academic hat on it and do research and see where, I can fit in things from, sources and stuff like that, magazines and newspapers and books and stuff like that. And so he saw how it was flowing and he really liked it. And, the rest is history. We ended up finishing it, thinking, what was it, maybe April? I think, yeah, April of 2021. And it got published November 2021. Sorry, 2020.
Alhamdulillah.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, no, because
Yep.
I remember it was during COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
exactly. Yep.
during COVID.
Yep.
You released it, and it's on Amazon now, Alhamdulillah. And
Yep. Yep.
I've not read it, but I've read parts of it. I've read I'm waiting for a signed copy, inshaAllah.
Oh gosh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
waiting
yeah.
for
You gotta read it. You gotta
I'm
read
waiting
it,
for a
man.
signed copy.
Yeah.